are a rapid response unit. We don't delay in taking action. We have to work with other agencies to coordinate very fast and ensure that complaints that are reported to us, as long as they are of public interest, as long as they affect communities, we ensure that we handle them very fast.
Yes, to cut you short there, everything you talk about almost shows you're handling the aftermath of corruption. You're handling cases after happening. What are you doing to prevent corruption before it happens? I'll give you an example. When you go to primary schools or even secondary schools, when these young people are going for elections, you will see a child in primary 4, primary 5, going back home telling the parent that I want to go and contest on a given position. And the parent is giving sweets, giving money, and other things to the child to go and give to their fellows to corrupt her fellow pupils to elect them. You can't tell me that person, when she grows up or when he grows up, will not go and corrupt people when he's going to contest in a constituency or what. What are you doing to make sure that you work on the prevention of this monster?
Ivan, as I told you earlier, we are working closely with all agencies, ministries, and departments to ensure that we eliminate the corrupt already, because we cannot wait for the younger generation. Where will they find us? We must deal with the problem that is at hand first, as we groom a better generation. We are not the ones to groom these children everywhere. That's why when I was starting, I appealed to all of you. I am happy I'm surrounded by youth. All of you I'm seeing in here are youth, and for me it's a big opportunity to tell you that youth are the right group to fight corruption, because you have many years to live, you have the ability, you know your world better, this world we live in. Our work is to ensure that we show you the way. We live by example. We try our best to ensure that we walk the talk. We say no corruption and we don't become corrupt. You talked about parents that are giving babies, these nursery infants, sweets and cakes to go and give and corrupt their fellow infants and pupils in primary schools and students in secondary schools. It is a responsibility of a parent to tell their children, to tell our children as the parents, that you don't need to corrupt anyone to give you any position in leadership, because then you are grooming thieves. If someone is going to believe that only bribes will take you where you want to go, we are bringing up a generation that is already corrupt. You asked what we are doing. We are working closely with the able media to sensitize on radios, on TVs, and thank you once again for giving me an opportunity to speak to the viewers and also to be part of the initiatives that you're taking to involve the youth in the fight against corruption. I'm so happy that you thought about me, that we need to tell you what we are doing and what we would want you to help us. By the way, I must say that we need the youth more in the fight against corruption.
Thank you so much to bring about that, because a lot of young people would want to be involved in this fight. When I talk to a number of them, we have groups where young people come and interact.
Yes.
And you see the suggestions they are having, and you ask yourself, if the people in positions that make decisions were hearing the suggestions that these young people are giving, really, wouldn't our nation be moving really to a higher and higher level? What can the young people do, or what would you encourage them to do to contribute to this fight?
Before I tell you what I think, or before I continue to share my views about the involvement of youth. And I will be clear, I want to appeal to parents. Parents like me, we are the ones to show the way. Charity begins at home. The moral decadence that is in our society today is because some, maybe majority, and I'm sorry if I'm bundling up everybody else, but majority of parents are not doing what they are supposed to do. They are giving their children a chance, or a chance to accept giving bribes and taking them. Yet it is a responsibility of every parent to groom a generation that is going to say no to giving bribes and receiving anything that they have not worked for. The moment you're taking something that you have not worked for, you are actually stealing a right of somebody else. Therefore, the first step should be homes and families. Parents, we must take it our responsibility, and it is our responsibility to tell our children at all levels that receiving anything that is not from your own effort is totally wrong.
It's theft.
It is theft. It is theft. So when you're giving a child anything to go and give friends such that they elect them in those leadership positions in their schools, in their institutions, you are actually teaching them how to steal.
Grooming,
because you are giving them something they have not worked for. You have not told them that they should go and speak about what they want to do, such that their colleagues believe in them, their peers believe in them, and they elect them for what they are, not what they have. The youth should help their societies to be honest and ethical in everything they do. Once you're ethical and honest, that is the caliber of a leader that you will be. We want the youth to be credible enough to use their energy, to use their knowledge, to use the resources around them and make the world a better place. The youth are supposed to be patriotic, love for their country. It is important to know that whatever you do, you are doing it to make your country a better place than you found it. Development must start with the youth, because in this country of ours, youth remain the majority. Uganda has the youngest generation, I think, even on the whole globe. If everybody that is above 16 can start doing something that is beneficial for their homes, for their societies, communities, and at national level, we are going to have a better country in very few years to come.
Sure.
Because youth are everywhere, they have every information. If they chose to love their country and serve it with all honesty, if we can take it by ourselves, all of us, now that doesn't need only the youth, but the youth can take the lead, because they are the ones, you are the ones out there.
Are they empowered enough to do that?
The Constitution mandates you to, when you see anything being wasted by anyone, you have a right to stop them, not by force. You don't have to fight. But when you tell them and they don't stop, recall police, report to police. If the police officers or the police station where you report will not do anything, then that's when us who are tasked to ensure that every public official does what they must do, we come in at that stage. Your work as a citizen, as a youth, ensure that where there is any public resource, it is safeguarded by either the police or the many other agencies that are supposed to be guarding the resources, including environment. We have NEMA, but when you see how the forest reserves, how the wetlands are being, should I say, mismanaged or destroyed, or there's so much deforestation, there is so much encroachment on wetlands, and that's why we are having problems with our weather and climate.
A lot of them. I would like to refer to something to do with a Myoga program, which is a government initiative to empower people and transform their lives. Young people, I've had some young people call me from Ntungamu. They have a group and they wanted to go and get these funds. But for someone to be able to access these funds, they want you to first deposit a given percentage of money. You're helping someone because they don't have entandikwa. At the same time, you're asking them to give you money before you give them the support.
That is theft. They are stealing from the people. And if it is a government official or anyone who was tasked to handle the Myoga, asking the poor people to first give money. To be very sincere, I will not talk much about the Myoga because I haven't personally taken interest in understanding how it works. We haven't received any official complaint about anything happening, but I know for sure, I heard it in the news, that Parliament or members of Parliament are moving around, understanding how the Myoga is being implemented, the Myoga program is being implemented, and if they come up with a report that that will implicate anyone, and they give us an opportunity to investigate, we shall definitely do.
Okay, thank you. Now, for the issue of time, maybe if you could conclude on the roles that the young people can play in the fight against corruption.
Let the youth lead by example. Let them choose to be the change that they want to see.
Wow.
Let them choose to live a life that is pleasing. As a Christian, I would say that let the youth choose to be the light of the world because they have the energy, they have the knowledge, they have many years to serve and to live.
Okay, we're going to first have opinions from the young people and youth to show us what they are doing to fight this monster. But again, what do they think? What is their opinion about corruption? We'll be right back.
My name is Angonda Treslin. I'm a second-year law student at Makerere University. Today we are talking about corruption. Corruption is evil. Corruption is a vice. Corruption is a deadly disease. Corruption, no bushuma. And corruption involves a lot of things. We have theft, which is the leading one. We have bribery. We have embezzlement. We have nepotism. We have favoritism, among others. What the youth can do is we have the youth networks. The youth networks, some youth have started up organizations. Those organizations can be the same channels that you can use to fight this vice called corruption. We have the youth integrity camps. The youth integrity camps are formulated mainly to determine, to educate, to teach us as the young people about how best we can promote integrity, transparency, among others. So the youth are encouraged to go for these camps. They can be in form of seminars, they can be in form of learning sessions, they can be through YouTube, and I promise you with this we shall be a better society. Also as well, us as the youth, it is up to us to really, through the networks, evangelize the change, because there is no way a bigger population would really fail to fight for the lesser who are not us as the youth. It is up to us. If we want to see the generation to come as a successful one, why not we do what we are supposed to do when we still have the time and the capacity to do that? Corruption together, it is not only me that is corrupt, it is you, it is she, it is him, it is all of us. We have to really first focus on ourselves, see how best we can walk away with the corruption part of it, and then go to the outside to work as well and make sure that the vice is stopped.
My name is Akansasera Junior Victor. I'm a youth leader, I'm a cadre. As young people, this is the time to stand up and say corruption is bad and we fight it. When a parent gives you something and you misuse it, you are corrupt yourself. So when we go to institutions, private institutions, and we're given jobs, we mishandle things or money given to us in our offices, that is corruption. You are lady, because you need a job, you give out yourself, your body, that is corruption. Now, as the youth, we are saying this is the best time to fight theft. The youth, we know the youth population in Uganda takes a bigger population, so takes a bigger percentage. So we are saying, if you know that you are a youth, organize fellow youth and pick out or monitor those agencies, monitor the youth funds, stand up, have the platforms and fight corruption. Organize yourselves in groups, organize yourselves in associations, organize yourselves the way you are in your communities. It can also be at the LOC. Form groups, then monitor government funds, monitor government projects.
Hi everyone, I'm Aibo Irene, third year student at Chabogo University. I'm a youth mentor. Corruption is a monster. It is very, very bad. Corruption has led to low development in our country. For instance, we see that people who are engaged into corruption are the ones that swindle money, because we are seeing our country is not developed in certain sectors. For example, the roads, the hospitals, the schools, where funds are supposed to be put. And we are seeing that so many people are suffering because the money that would be used to develop these certain sectors is swindled by these people. So it has also led to violence, because due to low development, some people have been fallen victims of violence in this very bad, deadly monster. So I urge the youth, as we the youth, let's form forums that fight against corruption, and also let us liberate our country from this corruption and remake it a free country.
Hello, my name is Mujisha Emanzi. I'm a Pan-Africanist youth. Corruption in its most basic description is the misuse of public resources or financial for personal gain. And this has been orchestrated mostly here in Africa or in Uganda by most or some public officials who mishandle public resources for personal gratification. However, that is an evil act, and that is an act that is counterproductive, and it is an act that deters Africa and Uganda to progress to the next level. One of the causes of corruption, from my very wide scope of investigation, is the greed by some people who are in areas of power. For example, we've had numerous stories about accounting officers in top ministries and organizations that divert would have been development funds for their private personal gratification. And that is absolutely wrong, because when we talk about corruption, we are talking about a vice that is worse than cancer, because it denies the wananchi or the local people getting resources that are supposed to be for them. To put this more into perspective, if you walk into a health facility, a government health facility, and you are sold to drugs that are clearly labeled not for sale, but because the doctor or the pharmacist or the nurse in that hospital has done so, that is a clear indication of corruption in its worst forms. So what do we do against this? As young people, there is very many things that we can do. Firstly, call it out. If you see a person that is selling a service or is offering what would have been a free service to you at a cost, you have to call it out immediately without fear of repercussion, because you are protected by the laws governing the Republic of Uganda. Secondly, we have to uphold some of the institutions and mechanisms that have been put in place. Yes, Uganda as a country, we've had institutions set up to fight corruption. For example, we have the IGG's office that is responsible for pulling out all the bad weevils from government that have corruption tendencies. But also, recently there was General Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, put up the anti-corruption unit. And indeed, we've seen some monies, government resources recovered from that. However, some of us young people, we have some tools that our forefathers did not have. For example, some of us young people have social media pages that have even more followers than some government organizations. So use that tool. Use your Facebook page, your Twitter account, your Instagram to call out an individual that was participating or inducing you into tendencies of corruption. It could be a traffic officer. It could be a local leader that has swindled public resources. Use your numbers to pull out or to push out the information. But also, most importantly, young people, we have to emulate best practices of officers or government officials that are doing their job well. We have to emulate that, and we don't replicate the same. Because for the Africa that we want, we have to build it ourselves. For example, as young people, we have the National Youth Council. The National Youth Council is a very good tool that should be used, firstly, to act as an institution for us to emulate from, through providing accountability, transparency, fairness, and effective representation. So I think if we all galvanize our energies and our knowledge base as young people in Uganda, we can kick out this vice of corruption for God and my country.
Those are very nice insights from the young people. They will understand what corruption is, and it is a monster that is deterring our country from developing. We only have 2 minutes, and I would just like you to have your conclusive remarks on how the youth can be engaged and how they can be parts of the fight against corruption.
To the youth that are talented in music and drama, music and drama communicates effectively. The most effective method of communication is through drama and music. Mm-hmm. Let them have some skits to show how when you take a bribe, you will cause someone in the hospital to die, and you never know who that person may be. Mm-hmm. You are in the office, for example, you are in the office of Ministry of Works, and you are in charge of the roads, you are the engineer in charge of any road. You have connived with the contractor, taken some money. The road works, we have been made shoddy, or they make shoddy works. Mm-hmm. Accidents will come in a short time, and you never know. You can even yourself die in an accident that you caused by taking away the money that should have constructed a better road. Let the youth choose to be the ambassadors of preaching the gospel against corruption. Mm-hmm. In particular, let the youth refuse taking bribes. Let them refuse to give bribes. Mm-hmm. Let them they don't have the power to arrest, but let them report the corrupt to the institutions of Inspectorate of Government, that is headed by the IGG, Criminal Investigations Department. We work closely with the DPP. Those that have been reported have been investigated, and the DPP has prosecuted over 300. Actually, by yesterday, we have arraigned in courts 302 persons in courts of law, and out of those, 192 are public officials who the DPP interdicted. They are not in government offices. They are not earning full salaries from government. We are